All right, here we go. So this is season 1, episode 2. And as you can see, I have changed my background. As you can see, I have changed many things. And first of all, I bought a microphone. I think it looks a little bit ridiculous for me to be holding it, but my camera keeps telling me that there's an issue with the audio. So we're going to have to look at me hold this microphone and try to figure it out. So first, I want to say thank you to everybody that gave me feedback. This video, well, the previous video is now up on YouTube. And that was actually coming from feedback where I do want it to be a video based podcast. So I did get the feedback that I should instead be moving on to YouTube since it's more video, more FaceTime, so and so. So I will be moving away from Spotify for the time being because I haven't quite gotten around to being there. I did also get the feedback to maybe expand to Instagram, TikTok, which I don't have, I've never used. That's my dog that you're going to hear from time to time. And yeah, give me one sec. I'm going to go on mute so I can yell at him and then I'll be back. Hopefully that didn't look too wild from the side, but I mean, I'm not an expert. You guys know this, and I don't know how to edit videos, so you are going to just I hope I did not look too wild screaming at my dog under my breath to the side. So anyway, so back to what I was saying was thank you so much for all of the feedback. I do want to be honest, while all of the feedback was fantastic, I don't think that I can implement every single one of them right away, mostly because some take time, others take a little bit more of confidence from me, others take a little bit more money, and so on. So I don't want to promise that every single thing that I got feedback on is going to be implemented, but I do thoroughly appreciate it and will continue to seek feedback and implement it as much as I can and or agree with it. So today, the reason today was going to be a different episode. But before I start, I want to say to those who said something about my glasses, they actually broke. So you might have jinxed it. Several people talked about my glasses. So you don't have the glare today, but I also don't have glasses. So I am looking into the camera. Can't promise you that I can see a lot of things. But the good news is that this is how you are convinced that it is not scripted, because even if I wanted to, I couldn't see anything that is further than probably this far away from me. So today's podcast was going to be around HR terminology. So a lot of people came back with the feedback that they didn't really understand what D&I was, such as diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I thought, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll make a podcast that involves me kind of going over the terminologies, the abbreviation, and all of that. And I was ready. You know, I was ready to give you all of the definitions and maybe I'll give you some towards the end. But this week and a half, I want to say, or this week, I've lost track of time. It's been rough. And one of the things that I promised everybody in the first episode was that I was going to be raw, I was going to be honest, I was going to be transparent. So, being able to admit on camera that this week has been rough, that my mental health has been impacted just a little bit, is hard, but it is something that I promised this podcast was going to do. Now, for the past week and a half, as I mentioned, imposter syndrome has pretty much come back and to tell me, hey, remember me, I am still here. And imposter syndrome is, I'm guessing a lot of us are familiar with it, but for those who are not, it's pretty much just feeling inadequate, feeling like we are the imposter in the room, feeling like everybody else knows something that we don't, or anybody else is more equipped to handle the conference, the meeting, the event more than we are. And sometimes it's easy for me to go tell my imposter syndrome, go fly a kite. I have experience. I know how to do things. I've led global teams. I've, sat in front of every single executive that I can possibly think of. But other times it's just not that easy. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it today is because you're not alone, especially in this market. I think after the last 2 years, everything has gone so differently. After the last 2 years, our life has been upside down. Are we remote? Are we not remote? Are we hybrid? Are we not hybrid? Nobody had a blueprint, at least for HR. I'll speak for myself in HR. Nobody had a blueprint as into what the hell we were supposed to do. How are we going to stay neutral in a world that was so divided between vaccines or not vaccines, whether they were remote or not remote? And we never had a blueprint. So we figured it out as we went. And that's pretty similar to my career. My career, a lot of times people would ask me, how did you get so far in your career so fast? And my answer has been failing forward. And depending on who you ask, failing forward means differently. But for me, it's just getting knocked down and getting back up. Now, I say this because 100% honest, I cried today. I have been feeling the imposter syndrome deeply. And instead of coming in here and just talking to you guys about abbreviations and what CHRO means Chief Human Resource Officers, or CPOs means Chief People Officers. Instead of doing all of that, I want to be honest with you that we all struggle. I'm struggling right now. And it's hard. While it's hard for me to admit, I think it's also important for me to put it out there to show that you're not alone. Being in the market as someone who's looking for a role is hard right now. Being an entrepreneur is hard right now. Being someone who just got laid off is hard right now. I think just being a human in these times is hard right now. So I got feedback a while ago, and it is from someone, I won't say her name just because, again, I haven't gotten permission to or any of that, but she gave me great advice. She gave me advice as far as into don't go in guns blazing. She basically said, not everybody deserves to experience your passion. Not everyone deserves to experience your story of your background. And while I took that and I said, you know what, it's true. As far as a professional setting, I don't have to come into an interview and talk about the struggles being a Latina immigrant who came in and had to talk about her accent or the way that she dressed or the way that she showed herself. You're right. I don't need to go into an interview and do that. But in this podcast is mine. And I know that she meant it towards a professional sense. And I thank her so deeply for this because it's true. And it kind of helped me see things in a different point of view. But for this purpose, for the podcast purpose, that's not going to be me. I am going to share my story from time to time. You are going to get to know a little bit more about me from time to time, but that is going to come with time. And the fact that I have been struggling and the fact that I have been out there saying, actually today I said, I made a comment and I said, I feel useless. I feel like I can't do anything right. That was valid. I validated it. Is it true? No. I slowly have to learn to not believe everything I think. I am my worst critic. I am a huge perfectionist. You can ask anybody that knows me. I am a huge perfectionist, but I have had to learn how to be kinder with myself, how to be kinder with my thoughts, because if not, then it would be a very big downward spiral. I thought this was tilted for a second. Is it tilted? I don't know. Again, ADHD coming out, so bear with me. Now, why I want to bring all of this to light? It's because if you are an executive and you are listening, if you are in TA, talent acquisition, and you are listening, I want you to listen up. Imposter syndrome lives within most of us, for a majority of us. And it has, I read somewhere, and I don't know if there's research behind this, but I did read somewhere that once an individual or an executive or a leader admits to having imposter syndrome, the other peers now look at this person differently. And it scared me when I read it. It scared me because I said, well, now are they going to think that I'm too vulnerable, too emotional? What are they going to think? And you know what you should think is, wow, this person has a hell of a strength to be able to say, I have imposter syndrome. I'm being vulnerable right now. Can you build a safe space for me? So my point towards executives and leaders and managers, doesn't matter what level, please do not lead with fear. Do not lead from a point where your employees are afraid to admit they made a mistake. Do not lead to a point where employees are getting the Sunday scaries, where they're hating their Sundays just because they know that Mondays are coming. Lead from a safe space. Lead from a space of, great, you messed up. How do we move forward from this? How do we keep this from happening again? Don't lead from a place of fear where your employees are going to constantly doubt themselves. As a leader, you need to surround yourselves with people that are better than you. As a leader myself, when I hire my teams and the teams that I have had, they're better than I am. All I am as a leader is, how do I support you? How do I get you to where I want you to be? Here are the goals. Here's the mission. This is why. But I create a safe space for them to show up as their whole authentic selves. So please lead from a place of kindness. Lead from a place of understanding. It's not going to ruin your reputation as a leader. It's not going to make you worse as a leader. It is actually going to make a change, and you are going to see this change. So how do you do this? When your team fails, you fail. When your team wins, including you, but your team wins. Seeing it the other way around can stop you from having such an amazing, strong, and able team. I can't tell you how many times in the past I have had many incredible teams, and they have caught errors that I have made. And I've been so thankful for that because, so I don't want to rant when it comes to this because this should be a different episode. But the reason I'm saying this is because also talent acquisition specialists, when you're looking, or recruiters or headhunters, when you're looking at a resume and you see that the person is a founder or a fractional consultant or a consultant on their own, please do not discredit them immediately just because of that. Over the past years, people have had to learn how to sink or swim. I have been one of those people where I have refused to sink. And I have tried every life vest. I have tried every type of swimming, backstroke. I've been watching the Olympics, I have to. But, backstrokes, front strokes, doesn't matter. I've had to keep my head above water. And how did I do that? And that was by becoming an entrepreneur. That was by opening my own consulting company. I am still in the process of finding an in-house role. But I have mentioned to many, I am not in a hurry to land the role. I am in a hurry not in a hurry, but I am, how do I say this? I am determined to find the right role for me. I want to contribute to a company that is making a change in the world because that is what I want to do. So when I apply for a role and you see the word founder, CEO, or fractional or consultant, please don't discredit that. These are people that have had to do what it takes to do to be able to survive in this economy and this market. And we work hard. Not saying that everybody else doesn't, but we do. We had to find a way to pay our bills. We had to find a way to feed our families. So if you are in talent acquisition, if you are in recruiting, and you are looking down at a resume and it says founder, consultant, and everything else ticks the box, give them a chance. I can't promise you that they're going to be A plus hires. I can't promise you that they're going to be superstars, but give them a chance. If they tick the boxes that you're looking for, don't let the fact that they're contractors or consultants or that they own their own company steer you away from that. Please take my word for this. You will not regret it. Now, back to why I've been struggling. In the past week and a half, I am a consultant, as many of you know. I have doubted my place in human resources and people operations quite a few times. And this is where mental health comes in, and this is why the way that you talk to yourself is so important. I have hit wall after wall after wall this past week and a half, or let's say 2 weeks. And every time I've hit a wall, I've gotten back up. And I think it was as of yesterday, I hit a really big wall. And in this big wall, I'm currently sitting. I'm still sitting. I haven't gotten back up. And I'm looking at this big concrete wall and I'm saying, do I just sit here? Do I just give up? Maybe it's not for me. Maybe this is not the route for me. I have been told that. I have been told that maybe HR is just not for me. And for split seconds, I believe them. And then I remember what I am set out to do. Human resources needs to be human driven. And it is what I tell my clients, and it's what I tell employers. I may not be the HR you're looking for if you are looking for someone to come in and be a hard ass and write down a notebook every single time someone says a bad word, or someone wears a t-shirt instead of a button up, or someone. That to me does not matter. Obviously, there are circumstances where it should matter, but let's look at this in kind of like a bird's eye view level. It does not matter. I am here to build career paths. I am here to make sure that your company is doing things that no other company has done before. Every single time I ask my founders, what is your mission? What is your vision? Every single time is I want to set out to do something that has never done before. So my job is to come in and say, well, let's look at things. Let's look at why you are hitting also a brick wall. So if it is my job to help others make that hurdle and go over these brick walls, why is it so hard for me when it is a wall after wall after wall? And it is because at the moment I'm tired. At the moment, it's one of those moments where I need to stop. And whether it's an hour or a full day, I need to focus on myself. It is not about being lazy. It is not about being selfish with my time. It is not about being privileged enough to be able to do this. It's about the fact that this is a moment where I need to take a second for myself and remember who I am. Because I can promise you tomorrow, next week, next month, I'm going to get back up. I'm going to continue to get back up, and I'm going to continue to hit brick walls. And again, many people ask me, why and how did you get from an HR coordinator / manager in a matter of 5 or 6 years all the way to a global head of people leading a global team? It's because I am not afraid to hit those walls. Do they hurt me? Hell yes, 100% they hurt me. Do they make me doubt of the power that I have to break through them? 100%. But they don't stop me. because I have worked very, very hard to get to where I am. And again, this episode is for me to be vulnerable, for me to be able to tell you, you're not alone. I know that is sometimes for those who are looking for jobs out there, it is rejection after rejection after rejection, and it hurts. It bothers us. Please know this, that I have been on the other side. I have been on the side of the decision making. And it should not be a surprise nor a secret to anyone that not every hire is an A+ hire, that not every hire is hired because they're 100 fully equipped and skilled and prepared to do the job. There's so many factors that go into hiring a person. And a lot of times we tend to take it personal. Please don't, because you are worth it. And if you show up every single day and you keep going over these walls and you keep knocking them down, I may not personally know you, but I am so incredibly proud of you because I know what it is to not want to break through them. I know what it is to feel like you're sitting down and you have nothing else to do. And for those of us right now that are sitting down and looking up at the wall and saying, this is a humongous wall, this is a brick wall, this is a cement wall, how on earth are we going to do this? I ask for you, reach out. Reach out to someone in your network that you trust. Reach out to someone in your family. Reach out to your friends. Reach out to anything. And when you talk to them, start talking about all of the accomplishments that you have made in the past year, despite all of the obstacles that have been thrown at us as humans. Talk to them. Ask them to give you feedback because, again, you can be your own worst critic. And sometimes when you hear it from other people, it starts to click. I cannot stress enough. Your voice matters. Everybody's voice matters. Whether we agree with it or not, they matter. So please do not stay silent. And, we all know the quote of speak up even though your voice shakes. And I love that one. But it's true. I cannot stress enough just how much we need you, how much we need fighters, how much we need people who are willing to be vulnerable, how much we need leaders to create safe spaces, how much corporate America needs safe spaces. And I want to be able to change that. I want to be able to make that clear, that you are able to show up to your job. You're able to show up to where you love working as yourself, your whole 100% authentic self. And we can go into what that means. Again, we're going to go into executive presence. We're going to go into so many things. But sometimes I'm going to do these types of podcasts because it's my time to be vulnerable with you. Because if I'm not vulnerable with you, I don't know if you have someone else in your life that can be. I have experience, like I mentioned. I have done many, many things that people my age or the tenure that I have in the industry have not done. I am more than qualified and equipped to continue to be in human resources. And those moments where people tell me, maybe you're in the wrong field, while I waver, I don't fall. I think this is the specific right industry for me because I am so passionate about it and I am so passionate to change it in all the right ways. So if you are feeling that imposter syndrome, you're not alone. It's not just you. Reach out to someone, write down your achievements, talk to them about those achievements, and get ready to burst through that wall. So, key takeaways here. I have had a shit week and a half. I have doubted myself. I have cried. I have ran into walls. I've done another leap, run, sprint, and I've hit another wall even harder. My amazing, amazing girlfriend, Allie, has had to feel confidence for the both of us, has had to lift me up, has had to give me pep talks. And I think having that support system is so important. And if you don't have that support system, I do invite you to reach out to me. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's have a normal conversation. I may not be in the setup because I'm not a newscaster. Honestly, I hope the setup works for you guys because I tried to get pretty creative with it. But I don't want to keep you because at this point, it's kind of going over the same things over and over again. But I hope you're still with me. I hope that if you are sitting in front of that concrete wall, that you're ready to get back up. And if you're not, that is okay. I hope that you're taking care of your mental health. Please, I cannot stress that enough. I have a therapist that I see once a week, and shout out to her because she has, in so many ways, saved my life. Please know that you're not alone. And I'm so proud of you for staying with us every single day, for getting back up and still showing up at a job where you feel that you're not you're not awarded or you're not recognized. I'm proud of you for deciding to quit that job. I'm proud of you for staying in that job. I'm proud of you for continuing to live every single day. And while this conversation, this podcast wasn't too much of, hey, here's what HR is, and hey, here's what you should know, I feel that this specific episode is so important because we all struggle. We all hurt. We all have our bad days. We all have our awful days. And it doesn't look a certain way. It doesn't look put together for the people you think that are put together. It doesn't look like a mess for the people that are put to mess. I can say that I'm an ugly crier, and thank God my girlfriend looks at me and still thinks that I'm beautiful, so she says. But my main point here is, if you're listening and you feel alone, reach out to me or reach out to a loved one. If you're an executive and you're listening to me, do you have a safe space? Do your leaders currently lead with compassion? Do they lead with empathy? If they don't, give me a call. I'll give them so many exercises and I will teach them so much about emotional intelligence because it is what we need the most in leadership today. If you are a recruiter, a headhunter, I feel for you. This market is one of the wildest markets I have been in experience of, but I want you to remember that every single person that still is applying to your role is fighting every single day, and they're not giving up. If you are someone who is neither of the things that I have spoken about, thank you for listening. And thank you for going on this ride with me. Thank you on trying to figure out this microphone with me. I really hope that you guys can hear me because I'm not doing this all over again. I don't know what microphone this is, but it's actually really cool. It could change colors. So maybe I'll change different colors. But I also do want you to start interacting with me. This is now on YouTube. So please, one, subscribe. I feel gross saying it because I never thought that I would ever say, please subscribe to my channel. But please subscribe, and in the comments or send me a message about what you want me to talk about. Do you want me to talk about the abbreviations of the HR world and so forth? Or do you want me to talk about the fact that as contractors and entrepreneurs and everybody that's getting out there constantly trying to find clients and trying to do this, we are badass. We are badass because we are not giving up. We said, this is the role for us. We know how to do this. So why not do it our way? Why not show up as ourselves and so forth? It takes so much passion and gumption and strength to show up every single day. So I forgot what I was saying, but I did need to say that. I want to hear what you want me to talk about because maybe you want me to talk more about mental health. Maybe you want me to talk about more about myself, which I don't see. Maybe you want me to talk more about what's going on right now in corporate America. I don't know, give me ideas because I'm open to them. And I think that I talk about diversity a lot and equity a lot. And I think it would be unfair for me to just assume what you want to hear from me. And be kind. I know somebody else, I think, signs off their podcast like this, but one, be your whole self. Acting like someone else is so exhausting. Two, please be kind. The world needs it. We all need it. God knows that I've needed kindness and patience this 2 weeks. So be kind. I'll see you next time. I really hope you guys can hear me, and I really hope you're still with me. And if you are, thank you so much. You guys are my rock. And I hope to continue to do this because I don't know, I think I'm getting the hang of it. And I put in a lot of money. But, anyways, thank you all for listening to me. And just know that you're not alone. I am here for all of you. And we're going to get through this. We'll be able to get through this. Bye.